Hey guys, it's Rahim. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button because I talk about property investment, personal development, and how to gain financial freedom. Have you ever wondered how much you need to buy £100,000 investment property? If you are, listen to learn how much exactly you need to buy an investment property that will generate you £1,000 net profit. For those who don't know me, my name is Rahim Bah. I am a property investor. I started my property investment journey just over 7 years ago. I was in a job where I was undervalued, underappreciated, going nowhere, working seriously long hours. I took the leap of faith to start my property investment journey. I started it by renting houses from landlords, and I subsequently run those houses on a room-by-room basis. The profit I made from those properties, I used to start buying my own investment properties. I was able to build up to a multi-million pound property investment portfolio, and I happened to be the first person in my peer group to become a property millionaire. I've gone on to get my own estate agency, renovation company, and I now help property investors to use my tried and tested method to start and scale in property investment. So, how much money do you need to buy £100,000 investment property and make £1,000 every single month? You see, I've got so many people asking me these questions. The reason I'm sharing these videos is because someone popped into my office. Maybe he's the third or fifth person actually. Rahim, I want to buy £100,000 property. I do not know how much I need. What are the things you need? So what I'm going to share with you is exactly what you would need to buy an investment property. So when I'm talking about investment property here, I'm talking about investment property that requires a bit of work. The reason why I like to buy investment property is because it allows me to force the value a little bit, and then obviously then do the property the way I want it instead of the way I bought the property itself. Suppose then you went online, you saw a property, and this property worth, let's say, £115,000. You know what you're doing, you negotiated, and you're able to buy that property for £100,000. So that £100,000 would be your purchase price. So your purchase price is the amount of money that property is going to be sold to you. In the UK, in order for you to buy a property, you need to have 25% of the actual amount of the property you are buying. And then the bank will lend you the remaining 75% of the £100,000. So in this case, our deposit of 25% would be £25,000. So £25,000 is what you need to have in your bank account, or maybe able to raise from friends and family, or maybe from some stocks and shares that you decided, oh, it's not good for you and you want to sell it to start investing in property. So you need to have that £25,000 upon completion. You don't need to have it straight away when you're buying the property. Obviously, it's better to have it at that time, knowing that you don't have to worry about raising it. But if you haven't, and you've got a potential of getting that money, so that's the money you would need. So obviously, if you're buying a property in the UK, we have something that we call SDLT. It's called stamp duty legal tax. This is the tax you pay to the government for buying a £100,000 property. At the current time I'm recording this video, the stamp duty for a buy-to-let property is 3%. So 3% of the £100,000, that will be £3,000. And your legal and administration cost to buy that property may be about around £1,500 to £2,000. So in this example, let's just estimate that to be £2,000. So if you add the £3,000, your stamp duty plus the £2,000 you're paying for your legal, that would give you £5,000. So again, that £5,000 is the cost of buying the property, as well as the tax you pay to the government for buying that house. So suppose then, again, you've got another £20,000. So that £20,000, if you remember what I said, that £20,000, we like to renovate properties that we can renovate. So because we are renovating that property, we're going to estimate our renovation cost would be £20,000. So the reason why you want to buy properties that you need a bit of work is for you to force the value in order for you to be able to increase the value of the property from being £100,000 property perhaps to being £130,000, 30 or 150,000 pounds property. I'm not going to bore you on that BRRR method. I will share another video about that. Actually, click on the video on this side to learn how you can do the buy, refurbish and refinance module. So suppose then we've got that money. So we've got the 25,000, we've got the 5,000, and we add the 20,000. That then gives us 50,000 pounds. Okay, so in essence, you need 50,000 pounds to buy this property. Okay, fast forward that you've done the property, you've renovated it, you've set it the way you want to set it. So here's the thing, instead of renting it to a normal family or to working professional, what you don't want to do is to rent it per night. You rent it as a serviced accommodation property. Some people call it Airbnb. So these are the ways I would advise you to rent the property. The reason why is because obviously it makes you serious return on your investment, better than renting it out to a family. And obviously you don't have to deal with tenants, and you don't have to worry about tenant not paying you. When it comes to serviced accommodation or Airbnb, the guests pay you before they check into your property. In essence, you get paid before you release the keys. So it's not like when you have a tenant, then the tenant sometimes says, oh, I've lost my job, or this has happened, or something happened, my cat has died, my dog went to the hospital, making all these silly excuses not to pay you your rent. But when it comes to serviced accommodation, that's not the case. They pay you before they actually check into your property. Okay, so moving on, suppose then you've done the property, or actually before I get to the rental income, you may be asking, Rahim, where do I get properties that are going for £100,000? Where do you get properties like that? Where are you going to get properties like this? If you're living in London, you can even get a bedroom for that, okay? But if you go places to the north like Burnley, Barnsley, Bolton, around Newcastle area, we have Cramlington, we have Northumberland. If you want to go to Wales, we have Newport, Swansea, Neath, Port Talbot, Merthyr Tydfil. There's so many places where you can buy properties below £100,000 and make obviously serious return on those monies as well. So if you want to ask where to get these properties, here they are. I've just given it to you. So now moving on then, suppose then you've done the property looks absolutely amazing. You've painted and decorated, you've got this nice, amazing sofa, you've got your nice TV in front of you, you've got these little coffee tables, you walk into the bedroom looks absolutely amazing. You've got your side drawers and you've got this nice, amazing picture frame on top of the bed. The bed is set up nicely, so the house speaks absolutely beautiful language, basically. It looks amazing. So in order for you to make money in it, then we know we're not renting it to a family, we're going to use the Airbnb method. Airbnb method, when we rent it night by night, you know that already. So what we now want to do, we're going to work out what our rental income is. So we look at the area, we notice that our nightly rate would be £150. We're renting our property for £150 per night. So we may not rent the property throughout the month. Let's now assume we only rent it 50% of the time. In essence, we only rent it 15.5 nights. Obviously, we do not have 15.5 nights. Let's round that up to 16 nights. So 16 nights at £150, the property will generate us £2,400. So £2,400, that would be our gross rental income. Let's assume our mortgage interest payment for this property is £450. So £450, that's our mortgage interest. Let's now assume the running cost of the Airbnb. Obviously, because we're doing Airbnb, we need to have the towels washed, we need to towel ironing, we need the bedding done, we need to literally clean the property up, make sure it looks nice and sparkly clean for the next guest. So obviously that costs us a bit of money to do. So, and obviously we have the electricity, gas and all the other stuff to keep the property going. Let's estimate that to be £900 per month. Okay, so £900 per month plus the £450, that gives us a total cost of £1,350. So £1,350 would be our total expense. So if you minus 1,350 from our £2,400 that we made from renting the property out, That would give us £1,050 profit. Remember, I promised to say £1,000, okay? So it's actually £1,050 if you were to rent it at 50% occupancy rate. So if you times that by 12, you're talking about £12,600. Hello? £12,600. That's what that one single property you've bought would have made you. So here's the thing. Imagine having 2 or 3 of these properties. If you have 3 of these properties, you would make a net profit of £37,800. And this £37,800 is money you would have made without actively working to make. This is what we call recurring income. You may have invested maybe an hour or 2 every week to get your properties going, but investing 2 to 3 hours a week for £37,000 a year really worth silver and gold. So this is the reason why I love property. I have not seen an investment strategy that will give you serious return of investment like this. I know you may be thinking, okay, stock and shares, yes. How many stock and shares do you need to buy in order to make £37,800? Actually, let me go to the worst part. How many stock and shares would you buy to make £12,600 a year? Look, I've done both. I've done stock and shares, and I'm doing property as well. I know how many shares you need to have in order to make £12,600. It's way more than 100,000. Maybe you're talking about 1 million stock and shares. And again, the dividend, you don't get the dividend. It's not a guaranteed income, because obviously the director can turn around and say, okay, this is not for you. We're not making money this year. They cut down the dividend payment. And most of the stocks also, they do not pay dividend anyways. So that's the reason why I love property. I love property because you can manipulate the figures. You can literally choose the tenants that you want to stay in your property. If you don't want to rent it to normal tenants, you can do Airbnb. You can literally rent the property on a room by room basis. It's absolutely amazing way to make serious return on your investment and make your money work a lot harder for you instead of working for it. So here's the deal. You have an idea of how this works. Now it is your duty, responsibility, and an obligation to implement what I've got shared with you. So if you want to learn how to implement strategies like this, I would love to invite you to click a link on the description of this video to book one of my specialists who will walk you through how we may be able to work together to help you implement strategies like this to make money work for you instead of you working for it. Thank you so much for watching this video. And by the way, if you like, hit the subscribe button to join the family. I look forward to sharing the next one. Thank you.